Welcome to episode 53 of the Every Single Day podcast. I interrupt our regular chapter scheduling for a little bit of Dutch. You ready? Steek je vinger op. That means put your finger up. Even more literally, it's like stab your finger up, which is good because it's going to break this glass ceiling. You'll hear about that in a minute. I know, but if you don't read Dutch, it's odd title, get it. So I'm posting this little bit of audio, which is a draft of my talk I'm giving this week called The Power of Asking and the Fear Behind Why We Don't Do It. I'm posting it for one of those times when we silently ask a question, which means we aren't asking it at all, and it was answered. In the case I'm thinking of, I'm referring to John Muldoon when he answers my question, when am I going to start writing and become a writer? He set up a daily writing habit for an experimental 30 days, a challenge I accepted and continue to this day. In fact, I'm on day 2,352. You can count that in years if you divide by 300 and something or other. So every single day began on November 1st, 2012 as a 30-day experiment to get me back into the writing habit. Because I asked, albeit rather silently, he answered. What are you holding back from asking? This is episode 53 of the Repossible podcast with a draft of my speech from this week related to asking and being answered. See you next week. Take 9. Ask. I'm going to read this one. I'm opening scene. I'm standing there. And I'm going to slowly raise my finger in the air and say nothing. When it's quiet and I have their full attention, I begin. I have a question. You see, in Dutch they say, steek je vinger op, of steek je vinger omhoog, which translates to put your finger up, or in English we say raise your hand. The action means we have a question. But I think it's much more than that. There's so much more going on when I make that simple gesture of raising my finger into the air. What that finger is doing is breaking through an invisible glass ceiling or a glass wall between me and you. If we turn the tables and you're the teacher and I'm the student surrounded by a field of other students, I stand out because I'm the one with my finger in the air. I'm the one who just broke the ceiling. I put a ripple in the still water. I dared to be the one to stand out. As a teacher, you no longer see an ocean of students, but a single finger attached to a hand held up in the air by an arm, and then a face and a body, and that person just came to life for you. He was transformed from yet another lifeless blob among many to one who dared ask a question. Now you might be thinking to yourself, gee, what question could be so powerful? But we don't even need to go there. The question itself is icing on the cake. It's the dessert. It's the bonus prize. The real part, the hard part, the part that most of us don't do, has already been done. Daring to raise up that finger and ask. Depending on your personality, you might also be thinking of the Russian proverb that says, the tallest blade of grass is the first to be cut. Or the Japanese who say, the nail that pops up is always hammered down. We know the Dutch can't leave tall things sticking out, so they say, boven het maaiveld uitsteken, loosely translated as standing out above ground level. With all of that danger of standing out above the crowd, who dares raise her hand? What type of person asks questions? Why don't we just let someone else do it? Who wants to be that person who is noticed? I can think of 2 people off the top of my head. One is me. The other is you. Now, I know you're thinking, oh boy, not me. I want to keep down in the shadows and not draw attention to myself. I get it. I'm usually that way. Except in one particular situation, when I can't hold it in anymore. when I can't hold back. When I have a message or a question that is so important, I can't let it remain one of the other blades of grass. Ask. 3 tiny little letters. So small and short. Just one little syllable. Yet asking can be as torturous for some as dental work without those lovely painkillers. I have a question. I also know you have a question. You might wonder how I know, but I know. You know. You have a question. You have a burning question you'd love to ask. But the question is not whether or not we have a question, but whether or not we'll ask it. Do you need another guest speaker for your event? Is that seat taken? Could I get your opinion on a new idea I have? Will you marry me? Would you mind if I walked you home tonight? What if those questions were never asked? What if we were just too scared of the possible answers? I have a question. Do you?